Hey, I'm Paul with Iron Orr Fitness. We're talking today about one of my favorite exercises, the squat. If you're looking to put on size, strength, athletes that are trying to get more, sports performance, this is one of the best exercises you can be doing. One of the most incorrect ones that I see though as well. So when we're looking at just body alignment in terms of squat here, I see people sometimes will set up really like wide or like very, very narrow. Ideally, you want to be in a position that is about like shoulder width, okay? We don't need to go super wide with our toes either. We want to just be about like a 5 to 7 degree turn out, okay, right? Shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, all the way down should be in pretty much stacked over each other, okay? That's a good position. When we drop into a squat, you see people with their knees caving in when they do that, right? We're loading a lot on the inside of the knee, where we want to think about kneecap lining over second and third toe. So when I drop down into this position, again, straight shot all the way up into the hip. That's a good stacked position, okay? Good beginning tips for someone who doesn't know how to squat. Usually we lack proper ankle mobility, and I would say that one of the biggest myths surrounding squats is people say that your knee shouldn't pass your toes. That's a lie. Someone who's especially taller, have long femurs, for you to get into a proper squatting position, your knees have to go over your toes to stay in this position right here. Okay, so what you want to think about doing is get yourself a wedge. You get one of these on Amazon pretty cheap. You can get an Olympic lifting shoe. You can even get a little bit of like a plate put behind your heels. You want to think about getting your foot elevated to the point where if you don't have good ankle mobility, this is going to give us the illusion of good ankle mobility so that my knees can pass over my toes. I'm able to sit up nice and upright here, flat back as we load it. So a beginner, you want to think about doing a goblet squat, which is what I was just doing right here, weight sitting in the front. If you're more advanced, and that's a 35 pounds. So if we're using a standard Olympic barbell, which is 45 pounds, the goal is to be able to handle 45 pounds of a kettlebell or a dumbbell before I can transfer over to this. Because if I don't know how to handle this weight properly, I'm not going to be able to handle this weight properly, right? Anytime we're doing any barbell movements, you want to think about keeping the weight stacked over our center of mass, which is right over the middle of my foot. Okay, so right here, if you can see it, weight sitting right over the middle of the foot. And hopefully when I drop down into this position, it's still maintaining over that center middle of the foot. If you notice that you're starting to drift this way and weight's starting to come over your toes, you're starting to put more pressure on your back. That's when you're doing squats here. We should be feeling a lot of quads, a lot of glutes. If we're feeling a lot in our lower back, it might mean that our position's off. Could mean that we're not incorporating enough core here. Okay, so a lot of information, but what I would say is focus on just doing body weight squats, getting good position, start loading slowly from there, work up to 45 pounds of handling a goblet squat, and then from there you're ready to transfer over to a barbell and then progress slowly from there. If you have any questions, come find us in the gym.